loans or both. So you would have that guarantor field pop open, and you would put that information down there.
Okay, very good. All right. So then what
Yeah.
you were saying is I don't have to have the rest of the CIF filled out. I can just add that guarantor piece down below. Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. And one thing that has been noted is when document remediation happened, there was no, field for the offices to indicate existing guarantors for credit relationships. So when you have a change request, say you're adding, say your customer already has 5 guarantors and you're adding a 6th one, and you look in Cornerstone and you see no guarantors listed at all, you could take that opportunity to get them added to the Cornerstone profile. So you would want to list all of the guarantors. So, and make the comments, that you're adding the guarantors that weren't added before, and this one is new. So, background maybe have already been completed on the existing, they're just not in the profile. Or you can wait for the periodic review to add those. But a lot of times you won't see all the guarantors listed if they went through remediation and they haven't been touched since then because they weren't added in remediation.
Okay, well that leads me to another question then. I have an entity, this is a separate entity, who right now today we have the CEO and CFO listed. The CFO has recently left. Now this customer or account holder of mine has like 6 various subsidiaries that we've opened just here recently within the last year or so. So the new CFO was captured on those subsidiaries, but I need to recognize those on my parent company, which the old CFO is still showing when I pull the entity report in Cornerstone. So what is the easiest way, I guess? Would I just have to do an add change request for the CFO then on my parent company, and then just say that this individuals have already been investigated, please copy over or something to that effect?
Yep, you would do the add change, put in your comment, there's a new CFO, background has been completed in Cornerstone or wherever. The thing about Cornerstone is we'll add that new CFO to the profile, but Cornerstone, we can't not order screening. It's automatic when we add a new party to the profile. So screening, adverse news will be ordered, but we don't have to order background. So screening is automatic. We can't stop that, but then we can just associate that background that was already ran to that request.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Michelle, I just have one quick question going back to adding existing guarantors to our existing borrowers. That's what we're in the process of doing right now. When I submitted my first request to add the guarantors in the CBCS site to upload the CDD form, in the drop-down options, request type is existing, but request details, really there's nothing on there because you're not changing any principals. You're not adding a new guarantor. These are all existing. So what would be the best option to select as far as the details for that CDD? Just to give an example, the only one that I used prior to, and I didn't get in trouble for using it, but I used other, but it says use only when directed. None of the other options really apply to adding an existing guarantor. I just want, because we're going to have a whole lot that we're going to be submitting here shortly, I just want to make sure that we're using the right option.
So the guarantor is existing, but it's not existing in the Cornerstone profile?
Correct. So we're going in and adding them.
So it's going to be, I would do add change related party, and then your comments, just write that this is an existing guarantor that was not added in remediation and needs to be added to the profile.
Right, and I did that, but my last step is when we're uploading the CDD form to be picked up in Cornerstone or to CBC site, there's an option to select the request type and then the request details. And so like request details for existing customers, it's only name change, principal owner change, new guarantor, other, HRA or EDD required, investment advisor, new account, or low-risk periodic review. Those are the options that one of those you're supposed to select for an existing customer when we upload those forms.
I would say your best option from that list would be new guarantor, even though it's not technically new. It's going to be newly added to Cornerstone to the profile.
Okay.
So, and then that's when you just explain in your
Take
comment.
the notes on the CDD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Suzanne and the group over at Bakersfield.
Hello.
Hi. I have a question going back to the FCRA form.
Uh-huh.
So on the top of the form where, Michelle, you said to put the entity name that we are having the FCRA filled out, so it'd be the entity name will be the Bakersfield RCBO, and then down below it would be Debbie Coronian and all of her stuff, and we would be running everything on Debbie. But if Debbie is also an owner in ABC Company, do we have to go back and get another FCRA for ABC Company?
No, if all the companies are affiliated, if they're all under the same relationship, and ABC Company, she's going to be a guarantor for, and you're pulling a credit report, but she's also going to be a guarantor for EFG Company. If it's under the same umbrella, the same relationship, that little blurb, I think, that says and affiliates after you put the name will cover that.
Okay.
Michelle, though,
form.
Expand on that. Is the relationship, do we have to make sure the relationship is built correctly in WICAS for that to flow correctly in Cornerstone?
No, no. As long as you indicate that it's all under the same relationship. Now, on the back end, if you guys have a way in WICAS that where you make the relationships show that they're all related, we don't have anything really to do with that. We just take the form that you give us, and we assume that you've confirmed that it's affiliated.
And affiliated meaning that the affiliated company is owned at least 50% of that affiliate to be an affiliated customer? How do you define affiliate?
We just look at it as if it's under the same relationship. If she's CEO, CFO, guarantor of, you have Fossil Inc. Company and you have Fossil Group, Fossil Limited, Fossil Europe. If they're all under the same family, then we consider that being affiliated. But we're not going to dive into the specific details as long as it's in the same family.
Tammy, this is Debbie. Is this form and that information at the top of that form, is this something that we should maybe escalate? Because I could be a guarantor for two different of our customers that are not related, and it seems kind of silly that we would have to get a new FCRA form for me twice for two different entities that happen to not be related, because, XYZ Company is owned by someone else and ABC Company is owned by someone completely different, but yet I may be guaranteeing both of those loans. So it seems to me that why would we need to actually put an entity name at the top of that form when all we're asking them is approval to run a credit report, regardless of which entity it's going to be related to?
Mm-hmm.
Wells Fargo.
Right.
Well, and when, they also have the option of signing the customer information form, which is specific to that entity. If you would rather do it that way, so it's specific to the entity that it's being pulled for.
Can that be left blank?
No, it does need to be completed. Since there is a field there, it needs to be completed.
Is that a free form field?
Yes.
So potentially we could add two legal entity names to that field?
You could. Yes, you could.
Well, the problem with that is that today I'm guaranteeing ABC Company, and 3 months down the road, I've decided to guarantee another loan for somebody else that they don't have anything to do with. So you're going to make me fill out another and sign another FCRA form for every time I guarantee a loan for a new borrower that they're not related? Like I say, it seems to me it's a blanket form. We're not going to rerun what we have already done, so why couldn't it apply to anybody, regardless of whether...
And so that FCRA form, I don't believe used to have the legal entity name on it. I think that's a change. But yeah, certainly I'll escalate that up and get additional detail on that.
Cool, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, any other questions for Michelle while we have her on the line?
This is Karen Murphy. Just our team has been, as we're doing, obviously the new CDD rule with BOFS attestations and reviewing Cornerstone, making sure our guarantors are added, we're not missing any borrowers or co-borrowers and all that good stuff. We're also having issues ensuring that we've got all the appropriate investigations in place. I'm just, dotting our I's, crossing our T's, including CIP, the U.S. Patriot verification. And we're finding, because some of these are older, very old accounts, that, for instance, one we had apparently never was SIP'd. And we're having to dig in files and really check to make sure that they have been. Are you guys looking at that too as a CBCS group, or are you relying on our offices to validate that?
If it's a net new borrower, then
it's not a net new.
If it's an existing borrower or existing account holder,
yes,
that's not something that we look at because it'll be a change request. If it comes to us on an existing account holder, it's a change request. So we're only looking at the change. We're not reviewing the account holder as a whole.
So was there a certain period in time that U.S. Patriot wasn't required, but obviously at a certain date it now is required? So we're having to get the customers or account holder borrower SIP'd?
As far as I know, the account holder borrower has always been required to be SIP'd. In the old paper investigations, you would see that was verified. The only new requirement since we're with the standard was SIPing individuals.
Okay. So apparently, for whatever reason, we never did, and our request included us having to do this now, which is, we worked with our CBCS consultant to do that. But it really is up to the office to validate this then? Are we...
customers, yes.
Okay. Yes. And is there a better...
When an existing customer went through remediation, they should have been re-SIP'd, because I've seen those remediation reports that have